Assalamu alaikum. This is 12th chemistry, and our today's topic is the chemical reactions of these carboxylic acids. As we are discussing the chemical properties, we have discussed some of the chemical properties, and today we are continuing the same. And in our previous lecture, we discussed the acidity of these carboxylic acids. Now, there are a number of these chemical properties, chemical reactions which are shown by these carboxylic acids. Now, like we have got this reaction with metals. As far as this reaction is concerned, these carboxylic acids they react with strongly electropositive these metals forming the salt. So you can see here this is formic acid. It reacts with the sodium. It is highly electropositive and it forms a salt of this formic acid, that is sodium formate, and plus hydrogen gas is also given out. Or we can treat it with these carboxylic acids with zinc. You have got this is acetic acid plus zinc. It gives this zinc acetate plus hydrogen. Similarly, we can also treat this benzoic acid with sodium. So you can see this is benzoic acid. On treatment with sodium, it gives sodium benzoate, and again hydrogen gas is evolved. Now these since we see that salts are formed when these carboxylic acids are made to react with these highly electropositive these metals. Now these salts are also formed when these carboxylic acids are when they are treated with alkalis, and these are also these they can be also decomposed by carbonates and bicarbonates. You can see here this is acetic acid. When it is treated with this sodium hydroxide, it gives sodium salt of this acetic acid, that is sodium acetate, and water is also given out in this reaction. Then we have got this formic acid. This one treated with potassium hydroxide, and it forms potassium, potassium formate or potassium methanoate and water. Or when these carboxyls, we can also they can also get decomposed. They can also decompose these carbonates and bicarbonates. You can see here this acetic acid. When it is treated with sodium carbonate, it gives sodium salt or this acetic acid, carbon dioxide plus water. Similarly, you can see bicarbonates. This is acetic acid. When it is treated with sodium bicarbonate, it gives sodium salt of this acetic acid plus carbon dioxide and water. Now these are the reactions in which we see how these metals, how these carboxylic acids react with metals, and how they can decompose carbonates and bicarbonates. Then we have got reactions which involve the hydroxyl of this hydroxyl group or this carboxylic group. Now in this reaction we have got a well-known reaction, that is esterification. So in this reaction we see esters are formed. What happens in this reaction? An acid molecule, carboxylic acid molecule, is treated with an alcohol in presence of some dehydrating agent, like we have concentrated sulfuric acid, or we can use anhydrous zinc chloride, and the product formed is an acetate, is an ester. Now we can see this reaction is usually the purpose of adding these dehydrating agents like concentrated sulfuric acid or anhydrous zinc chloride is to drain out this moisture, because the reaction is reversible one. But this is acetic acid. When it is treated with methanol, it forms a methyl acetate or methyl ethanoate and plus water. Similarly, this is formic acid. When it is treated with ethanol, we get a ethyl formate or ethyl methanoate and water. Or we can use here this is benzoic acid. When it is treated with ethanol, it forms ethyl benzoate plus water. Now these reactions they involve these hydroxyl group of these carboxylic acids. Then we have got the formation of these acid chlorides. Now, as far as these acid chlorides are concerned, these carboxylic acids they react with this phosphorus halides. We have got PCl3, we have got PCl5, that is trihalides and pentahalides, or thionyl chloride. And in this case, we see these acid chlorides are formed. You can see here when this formic acid it is made to react with this pentachloride, this is PCl5, and the product obtained is methanoyl chloride and plus phosphoryl chloride and HCl. Similarly, ethanoic acid, when it is treated with PCl5, it gives ethanoyl chloride plus POCl3 and HCl. Now, with trihalides, you can see acetic acid. When it reacts with a trihalide, that is PCl3 phosphorus trichloride, it gives ethanoyl chloride plus it gives phosphorus acid. Now similarly, when they are made to react with these thionyl chloride, we have got this formic acid. When it is with thionyl chloride, it gives it gives methanoyl chloride or formyl chloride plus HCl and sulfur dioxide. And then we can also treat this acetic acid with thionyl chloride. It forms ethanoyl chloride, HCl, and sulfur dioxide gas. Similarly, benzoic acid, when it is treated with this, we can treat it with as a thionyl chloride. It gives rise to the formation of benzoyl chloride, HCl, and sulfur dioxide. Then another reaction, that is the formation of these anhydrides. Now, what we do in this reaction, we see that these acid molecules, they are treated with strong these dehydrating agents, like we have got P2O5, phosphorus phosphorus pentoxide, and in this reaction we see anhydrides are formed. You can see here, this is these two molecules of these carboxylic acids, when they are made heated with this P2O5, phosphorus pentoxide, they give rise to the formation of this acid anhydride molecule, and water is also given out. Now I have here shown you this. This is an example of this acetic acid. So two molecules of acetic acid, when they are treated with this pentoxide, when they are heated, they give this ethanoic anhydride, and plus water is given out. Then we have got the formation of acid amides. Now formation of, so this was the formation of acid anhydride, then the formation of acid amides. Now in this reaction, we see that these carboxylic acids, they are treated with ammonia, and they first give ammonium salt of this carboxylic acid, which on heating then loses a molecule of water to give the final product of the reaction, that is acid amide. Now you can see here, this is acetic acid. When it is treated with ammonia, it gives first a salt of ammonium salt of the acid, that is ammonium acetate, and which on heating it gives out the molecule of water to form water to form ethan amide. This is an amide molecule. Similarly, we can treat this benzoic acid with this ammonia. It will form a salt, that is ammonium benzoate, which on heating again loses molecule of water to give benzamide. So in this reaction we see amides are formed. Then we have got the reactions which involve these carboxylic group as a whole. In this reaction we have got a decarboxylation. Decarboxylation means loss of carbon dioxide from the molecule. Now carboxylic acids get decarboxylated to form alkanes when their sodium or potassium salts are heated with soda lime. Soda lime, that is a mixture of sodium hydroxide and calcium oxide. Now you can see here, this is salt of this salt of the carboxylic acid, that is salt of sodium acetate, that is a sodium salt of acetic acid, sodium acetate. When it is treated with soda lime, you can see here the decarboxylation takes place, and we see that we get a sodium carbonate is formed, and then we get an alkane. And an alkane is formed. You can see methane is formed when acetic acid, sodium salt of acetic acid, is heated with soda lime. Then this we see methane is formed. Similarly, if we treat a sodium salt of this benzoic acid with the soda lime, when it is heated, it undergoes decarboxylation, giving rise to this. It forms the corresponding hydrocarbon, that is benzene, plus sodium carbonate is it is given out. Then we have got one more reaction, that is a Kolbe's electrolytic reaction. So what we do in this reaction, the process is carried out in an electrolytic cell that is fitted with two electrodes, that is cathode and anode. Now anode, and on passing this electric current, this electrolysis of this aqueous solution of this aqueous solution of sodium salt of carboxylic acid takes place, and it undergoes decarboxylation to give a higher alkane. We can see here, this is sodium salt of this these carboxylic acids. Upon ionization, it gives an anion and a cation. Now this is a carboxylate ion, and this is sodium ion. Now we see that this, since the electrolytic cell is fitted with two electrodes, now at cathode these anions are they get discharged towards the anode. We see they move towards this anode. This is anion, it loses electron. Here you can see, here it undergoes oxidation, and it gets converted to this CaRCOO. Since this is an unstable molecule, and it immediately loses this carbon dioxide to form an alkane. This is a higher alkane. Similarly, at cathode we see these positive ions, they are discharged towards the cations are discharged towards the cathode, and we see they undergo here reduction. They gain electrons and they form these metal ions. They get converted to the metal atoms, which then react with water to form this sodium hydroxide, and hydrogen gas is also given out. Now, see, now I have shown here an example. You can see sodium salt or this acetic acid. Upon ionization, it gives acetate ion and sodium ion. Now these acetate ions, they will get they will get discharged towards the anode, where they undergo this oxidation to form this CH3CO. This being unstable, and it immediately loses one molecule of this carbon dioxide to give a higher alkane. So we see that here we get here, this is ethane. This is ethane. Now sodium ions, they get discharged towards this cathode, where they undergo oxidation, where they undergo this reduction, because there is gain of electrons, we see, and they form sodium atoms, which then react with water to form sodium hydroxide and hydrogen. Then we have got another reaction, that is a dry distillation of calcium salt of carboxylic acid. Now in this case we see that calcium salt of an carboxylic acid, when it is subjected to dry distillation, it undergoes this you can see it undergoes this decarboxylation, and it gives rise to the formation of an aldehyde. We can see when calcium formate, or calcium salt of methanoic acid, or calcium methanoate, when it is heated, it loses this molecule of this calcium carbonate, and we see methanol is formed. Similarly, in order to get this to get acetaldehyde, or to get ethanol, we have to heat a mixture of calcium acetate and calcium formate. Now you can see here, and now when these two, the mixture is then subject to dry distillation, that is calcium this is calcium formate, and this is calcium acetate. So when they are subjected to this distillation, they give molecules, calcium carbonate molecule, two molecules of these calcium carbonate are given out, and we see, and also two molecules of this ethanol or acetaldehyde are formed. Similarly, when calcium salt of this and this calcium salt of this acetic acid, or calcium ethanoate, when it is subject to dry distillation alone, in that case we see acetone or ketone is formed. We can see here, when it is heated, it gives this calcium carbonate, and this is propanone or acetone. And similarly, there are many more reactions. Since the time is we have limited at that time, so we will discuss those reactions in our next lecture. So this is for today. Thank you.